Do you like the old school blues musicians like Blind Blake, Big Bill Broonzy, and Mississippi John Hurt? Well, if so, I think you're going to enjoy this blues fingerstyle pattern I want to share with you in this video. Now, it's wild to think about that this style is over 100 years old now at this point. And I think it's just as fun, maybe even more fun to play now than it was back then or at any time, because a lot of musicians don't know how to play this style anymore. So I want to share with you some insider tips. And it started with ragtime music, ragtime piano. It was done on guitar, and this has roots all through the history of the blues. Now, it's a simple progression, but it's actually really hard to get it to sound right. So we'll take it slow. Here's what it sounds like. A 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got a very common ragtime chord progression, which actually sounds a lot like that Clapton cover of course, the old blues standard, Nobody Knows You When You're Down and Out. It actually starts off with that same progression. So we've got a few chords here. The first one is C, which is from the 5th string down, 3, 2, open, 1, open. Then we have an E7, but we're going to play it from the 5th string down. So it's going to go 2, open, 1, open, open. So we're not going to put the E in the bass, and you'll see when we add the finger picking pattern, we're going to play from 5 down. So that's technically called an E7 over B. Then we'll go to A7. Oh, such a great blues chord. This is from the 5th string down, open, 2, 2, 2, 3. Then we have a D7, which is from the 4th string down, open, 2, 1, 2. And then the classic G7, this is all 6 strings, 3, 2, open, 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 1. So those are the chords, and if you've struggled to learn finger picking on guitar, then go to johnmclennan.com/fingerstylejumpstart and grab my free fingerstyle PDF. This is going to show you 5 powerful exercises to get your finger picking hand grooving like a well-oiled machine, and that's going to help you be able to play tons of songs just like what I'm showing you right now. So we have those chords. We got a C. This is going to be for the first bar. It's going to go C, 2, 3, 4, then E7 over B, 3, 4, then A7, 2, 3, 4. So the first 3 chords get 4 beats each. Then in the last bar, the 4th bar, we're going to split it up. D7, 2 beats, G7, 2 beats. So it's going to go 1, 2, and 3, 4, a 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Now, one of the biggest mistakes I see with a lot of people learning fingerstyle, and teachers, this is a fault of a teacher a lot of times too, is they have students start with all kinds of crazy fingers and, oh, I'm going to use my thumb, index, middle, pinky, and get it all going when they haven't even learned to just like use their thumb or use their index. And so I like to break things down. So here, let's start with the thumb. What we're going to do is we're going to play this pattern, and you'll see this pattern going throughout the whole thing. The thumb is going to play the quarter note. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That's the thumb. It's always just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's basically just keeping time like a metronome. Now on the C chord, we're going to alternate strings 5, then 4. So it's going to go 5, 4, 5, 4. Then when we go to E7, we keep the same pattern going. Remember I said the B stays in the bass, so it's going to go 5, 4, 5, 4. So the chord changed, but the thumb does the same thing in the finger picking hand. Then the same thing on A7, we're going to go 5, 4, 5, 4. And the reason why this can keep going is because the fretting hand is changing, right? So okay, then when we go to the D7, we're going to play 4, 3, and then G7, it's going to go 6, 4. So, okay, so all together. So that's what the thumb does, and you'll notice that I'm using, instead of like this, I'm getting a mute. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the index finger, and I recommend playing all of this to start with just your thumb and your index, 2 fingers, right? So that's gonna be very different than what most, you know, guitar gurus out there are gonna tell you. So here we're gonna play the 3rd string, then the 2nd string, and then we'll pinch the 1st string open with that 2nd bass note. So it's gonna go, see that, 1 and 2, okay? And then we come back to the 3rd string with the index. So it's 1 and 2, and then we'll do 2 pinches, 3 and 4, and that's gonna be strings 5 and 2. So again, remember the thumb is always doing this, right? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now on the last beat, I'm gonna do something weird and just take off the chord. And Blind Blake and a lot of these old blues musicians were like, it was really kind of just Roadhouse, like kind of a rough sound. You know, it's just real kind of hitting open flams, and technically, I mean, that's just like, ooh, someone would say that's the wrong note. But it actually sounds cool when he kind of lifts off in the song, like, right? So that's gonna come in and out. So then we do the same exact picking pattern, but on the E7, and then on the last quarter note, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, we just take off our fingers, right? So we just get open strings. So it's like C, E7 over B. All right, then when we go to the A7, the fretting hand shifts, and we play the same pattern, 1 and 2, and until we get to beat 3. On the and of 3, we're gonna add the 1st string and then come back to the 4th string, then 3rd string open. So it's gonna go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and again, lifting off, right, on the way to the next chord. You don't have to hold the chord until the very last beat and then switch perfectly. Rarely do you do that on guitar. You actually kind of, see there, I just lift up, and then that gives me time to get to the next chord. Now D7, once we get to D7, we're gonna play, and this is, again, you notice those open strings there. I'm gonna play the 4th string with the thumb, and then the 1st string to the 2nd string with the index, like this. Then I do the thumb, just kind of on the open strings. Then 2 last pinches on the G7 chord, you play 6 and 1 and 4 and 1 there, strings, like this. So it goes. See that? Okay, so backing up, if I put it together, it sounds like this. C, E7, A7, D7, G7, C. All right, so that's the main groove there. Now, the part that gets difficult is adding in the swing. And when you listen to the old school musicians, you know, they swung in a specific way, and I think a lot of it has to do with that ragtime kind of feel. So instead of even eighth notes, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and it was 1 and 2, ba 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 ba, but it's just, you know, it's swing, but it's like the ultimate like ragtime swing. That's just like, I can describe it to you like I just did, but like getting that sound could take a lifetime. So let's try it. We're gonna play through the pattern 2 times. When we're done, we'll end on the C chord. Get set, here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Repeat. C. So there you have it, some old school blues finger picking in the style of Blind Blake. Big Bill Broonzy or Mississippi John Hurt. If you want to dive deeper with this style, go to johnmclennan.com/fingerstyle jumpstart and get your hands on my free fingerstyle PDF guide. This is going to show you 5 powerful exercises to start getting your finger picking hand grooving like a well-oiled machine. And it's completely for free. Just go to johnmclennan.com/fingerstyle jumpstart and grab that now. As always, thanks for watching, and if you like this video, you might enjoy this one next.